Hey guys, and welcome to Calculator Develop using JavaScript. Okay, let me show you guys how this works. I'm going to just play everything and let's say 52.12 multiplied by 9. There we go. Right, we can minus whatever and so on. Just works like any other calculator. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up Notepad++ and we put one of these together there. So I'm going to start by first of all selecting the language that I intend to use. This is Notepad++. If you don't have one on your system, you can always download and install it. It's a free package. So you go straight to where we have language, and right there just select HTML. So I'm going to be using this with CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. So CSS, that's actually the cascading style sheet. So let's define the type of document. So I'm going to say document type, and that is going to be HTML. There. Next, I'm going to just define my HTML tag, HTML. Then come down here and say language. And that is going to be in. It's meant to be the language, and the EN stands for English. So that's the attribute is language, then the EN stands for English. Next, I'm going to then, let's say head. And after that, I'm now going to create my meta character setting. Right, so let's enter the meta. That would be for the metadata. Then we'll set the let's set the character to UTF, and that is going to be it. So the UTF, that's the uniform transformation format, and the character size that I intend to use, that would be 8. You can always increase that to whatever size you want. All right, the other thing is this will also prevent any use of emoji bake, which may be something that is being misinterpreted. Okay, so let's go now and just create a title for it. So the title, I'm just going to call that something calculate. Let's come in here and say title, and that is going to be JavaScript GUI calculator. Yeah, that will do. And let's just close that up, and there we go. So my title is in place. And since I'm going to be using cascading style sheet, I'm just going to say style I tend to use. So this very style will take in the following. And I'm also going to just end the. Okay, for the style sheet, I'm going to start by just creating the body. So that's a body. And that is going to be inside my curly braces. And here I'm going to enter the background. So that's going to be for my background. And the color that I intend to use, I'm just going to call that F0, F0, F0. There should be an ash here. There we go. And end it with semicolon. Next, the font that I intend to use. So let's define this font. I'm going to just call that, let's say, font family. And that is going to be Arial. Let's see. So as you can see, the font I intend to use is Area, and here that's going to just be a generic fallback font. Next, I'm going to say the display is going to be flex. So which means I'll be able to adjust as I want. Then I also want it to get justified dead center. You can always change it to whatever you want. Justify, and let's just make that content to be center. Is center. There we go. And next, I also want it align center. Line that is going to be center. There we go. Now the vertical height. So let's say height. Just make that about 100. So it will be like in between here. Just like you guys saw earlier. So say it's going to be about 100. There we go. That's the whole body for the style sheet defined. Next, I'm going to then just like give it a name. It's going to be a calculator. Make this lowercase. And find the properties of that. Define the background color for this variable calculator itself. So let's grab a hold of that, paste that right underneath here. And I'm just going to make that 222. That's something very a little bit actually black. Then in here, let's get it padded. The padding that is going to be, I want to make it about 20 pixels. And what about the border? Border and the radius for this border is going to be 10 pixels. Next is going to be the box shadow. There we go. That will just add the shadow around the system itself, giving it a soft looking appearance. Alright, so let's go for the width. The width, I'm going to make that about 400 and, no, let's say 480 pixels. There we go. Alright, so that's taken care of. What about the display? For the display, we can just make the display, let's say, dot display. And we'll make the properties of the display as follows. The background, I'm going to specify that the color, the font size, and so on. So let's just copy this. And I'm going to make this black. So let's just add 0, 0, 0. Then the color, make that something that should be around green, the display. And the font size. Font size, we make that maybe 4. Yeah, the range of 4. Let's say font. Yeah. And let's get the text aligned. Align the text. Yeah, right. And next, I'm going to add a padding and radius to that very display. So the padding will be about 10. that 10 pixels. And for the radius, okay, 5 we do. And the margin, just make that about 10 as well. Margin to the bottom. I'm gonna make that 10 pixels. Yeah, good. Okay. Then overflow. That can always be auto overflow. Make that auto. X-axis, that will be auto. Here we go. Right. That is taken care of for the display. Next, my buttons. So for the buttons, let's come down here and just say dot buttons. How I want my button to look like. Now display. So that's going to be the grid. Display, grid. Next, say grid, grid template, and column. Columns. I want it to repeat 4 times. 4, comma. Yeah, that's for the button. Done. Now, the button padding itself, let's define all of that. So grab all of this and call it button. Button. Buttons. Let's change this one to buttons. Then this will be buttons and button here. And that is going to be as follows. The padding, I can copy all of these and just change things around. Let's go for padding there. Padding for the button, I can increase that to about 40. Make that 40 as the size of the font that will be displayed. Then the font size, I'm going to make that 2.2 for it will be right. Any border? No border. Then the radius of that button will be about 5 or so. Pointer. Yeah. And background color, you can make that a little bit something grayish. Change that to 3 all into 3. Color. We can make that white. Then transition background. Transition to be the background. Yeah. 0.3. Okay. So that is that done. So for the other style sheets for this very button itself, I'm just going to define those and just copy and paste it. So let's grab all of this. When it's over around it, let's put some space here so that you can see it. Buttons, button, over, and the background, we change color. Let's grab all of this background here. Paste that there. And I'll just make that 555. Okay, that's good. Next, for the operator, once the operator get there, copy this. The operator, let's change this to operator. Operator, that background is going to be 999500. Good. That one is done. Now, button operator hover. I've just made that all white. Button operator hover. Make that all white. Yeah. We're almost there. So I now need to create that of the equals button and the clear button, and that'll be all. So I can just copy all of this, just change them around. There we go. And this is going to be for the equals. Changes to equal. And in the other background, I can just make it something a little bit darker. That's it. Yeah, that would do. Then the grid. And that is going to be for this span 2. There we go. Yeah. All right. For the clear button, now let's change that to 3B. Yeah. Done. So those are all the instruction for the CSS itself, the style that I intend to use, taken care of. Let me save this. I'm going to go to File, Save As. Let's call it Calculator YT for YouTube. Save. So you can see I save it as an HTML file. Okay, so now let's take care of the body. So I'm going to come down here and I will create a body. It's for the body. So I'm going to create 3 classes here. So let's say divide. And this one is going to be known as class would be for the calculator itself. Calculator. Do that. Okay, next. The other class is going to be for the display. So we can just grab all of these. That is going to be for display. And in the case of display, we just have to give it an ID. Display, and that is the ID is going to be display as well, equals display. Okay. And that in there. Yeah. And the next one is going to be for the buttons. So class in this case would be for the buttons. Get in there. All right, that's taken care of. So the first button that I'm going to create, I'm just going to call that play. And this button is going to be play. So class, and it belongs, that will be for player. Like that, lowercase. And the event is on play. You click on it. What do we want? We want it to play, clear display. So we call it clear display, which means I have to create a function that is going to be called clear display. Right. That is a function. Let me show the button we have the sign C on it. So let's close this button. Okay, as you can see here is a function. The function is not defined, but this is just the name I intend to call that. You guys to understand what I'm talking about, I can just, let's close up all of this here. Close this as well. And underneath here, I'm going to create the sphere function. Okay, this function is going to be inside the script. Let's say script, and that is going to be, I can just call it, let's put it underneath here, function. And this function will play display. There we go. Right down here. Okay. And all I then need to do is just play the display inner text. And that will be equals 0. There we go. Right, so me calling this function now is now valid. Okay, I guess you guys get that. Right. Okay, so that function is taken care of. Let me close that. I want to add 3 more functions. I know this here. Right. Save that. And I might as well just close out the body and the HTML here. Down here, paste that here. Close, then close HTML as well. There we go. HTML. There. Alright, so all of those ones are taken care of for now. Save that. If I go into where I save my, that's it right here. If I click on it, let's see, that's just well done so far. Okay, you can see now the click maps there. Okay, now let's create the rates of the buttons. So clear is taken care of. We now need to take care of the one that will be used to other function for append and operators. So I'm going to grab all of these. Paste. And this is going to be on play. Let's get rid of all of this. And value. And that's going to be for the brackets. Let's put a bracket in there. And another one. Yeah, that's for 1. Close that there. And here. That's what I want the system to display. That's a bracket. Okay. Now, I can just copy this and change it around for the second bracket. The bracket that will be closed, this one, and here, close the bracket as well. Okay, the brackets, those ones are taken care of. We also need to take care of the operators. the operator in this case. But let's save this. I want to see how this bracket will look like. Let's go into here. There we go. Right. Good. Now, need to take care of the operators. Let's grab all of these again. Dump it right underneath here. This is going to be for operator. And that's the class name. Then the event is going to be append value. And this value that is going to be appended is division sign. Close that up, right? And here I want the division sign to have the division sign itself. Enter the division sign there. Okay, that's the division sign. If you want, you can use a backspace one. The choice is yours. Okay, that's taken care of. Brilliant. So the next thing now is we just need to define our various buttons. So I can just copy one of these and just paste it around for the buttons. All buttons there. 1, 2. Let's take care of it one at a time. So this is going to be 7. And this will be 8. This is 7. 8. Okay. Append value 7. All right. And this is what's going to be displayed. So we have 2 buttons added now. So let's add third. That's for 9. Change this to 9. 9 here. Right. So in this case, the operator, grab all of these. Operator that will be at the end of it will be what? I can make that multiplication sign. Just change this to multiplication sign as well. Okay, so operator, that's the function, that's the class, and this is the, okay, that's fine. That's the event. Let's save that. See what we've done so far. Okay, I can open that and just refresh it. So refresh there. See that, guys? So it's taking shape now. Good. Now let's do this. So it's easy now. We can just copy, paste, and this is going to be 4, 5, 6. Here is 6, 5, 4, and here just change it to some prompt. There. The next one. Let's make that in 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And the operator is going to be the plus sign. There we go. And finally, let's take care of 0 and the decimal. So this will be 0, 0. This is decimal, decimal here. Okay, and the function, the class is going to be equals. You guys can still remember the equals class. Then the event is, let's change that to, yeah, the event is going to be calculator result. Later results. Let's call it with the result there. Or calculate result, something like that. Yeah, calculate result. And here is gonna be equals. There we go. That is that all done. Get rid of this. We don't need this. Okay, guys. I think let's try that out. Open it up and just refresh. There we go. Look at that. That's brilliant, guys. All right, nothing is happening until you take care of all the functions. You can see the. Okay, that's good. All right, let's take care of these functions now. And right underneath here, if you guys can still recall the script that I wrote earlier, just to show you that of the way. So right underneath here, I'm now going to create a constant. So let's call that constant, and that's going to be for the display. And that's going to be equals document. Yeah, document. Dot get element. Idea ID. This ID is going to be display. All right. Now, this function that I've used throughout, now I'm going to create it here. So there's a function, and this function is called append value, and that's going to be the value. Next, using an if statement. So if display dots inner text equals 0. If you notice, I have 3 equals here. Display inner, that will be equals the value. That will be equals value. There we go. Else, display inner will be plus equals value plus equals value. There we go. Okay, let's close that up. There. And next, I'm going to now create the last function, which is going to be for calculate result. So let's just copy that, come right down here. Let's say function calculate result, enter statement block, and I'm going to use try catch statement in there. So try, and if display, so display dots inner text, if that is equals evaluate, then we ask it to display inner text. Let's place that in there as well. There we go. Okay. Else, I want you to hash whatever error that I might run into. So right here, a statement, cache E, I will stand for the system itself, whatever error. So let's grab all of these. Just dump it right there. There we go. And another one. So in this case, we ask it to display error message. I think that is it for this calculator. So I'm going to save it. Let's go straight into my system and check it out. I go click on it right there. There we go. Look at that. So let's say, there we go. Multiply by 8. there. Play that. Multiply by 5. Use that. And we then divide that by maybe 9 or something. There we go. Look at that. Okay, guys, you see that? That is how the system works. Okay. So I'm going to add this code into my description area. For those of you who are interested, you can always grab all of it. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member of the channel. You all have a nice day now. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more JavaScript tutorial. Bye for now.